Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking that terrible test anxiety and turning it into a bulletproof, actionable blueprint for acing the CELPIP speaking exam. If you're gearing up for this test, you already know exactly how high the stakes are, right? I mean, we're talking about career prospects, immigration status, basically your whole future in Canada riding on this one result. It's a ton of pressure. But today, we're going to completely remove the guesswork. We're breaking down the ultimate winning strategy for CELPIP so you can walk into that testing center with absolute, rock-solid confidence.
Picture this. You've got exactly 90 seconds on the clock. What do you say? Staring at a digital timer while speaking into a microphone can be incredibly stressful, especially when those huge life goals are on the line. Have you ever noticed how your brain completely freezes the very second someone says, "Go"? 90 seconds can feel like an absolute eternity when your mind goes blank, or it can feel like a total blur if you start rambling in a panic. Let's be honest, even native English speakers freeze up when a timer is ticking down in their face. It is a totally normal human reaction to a weird artificial testing environment. But with the right strategy, we're going to bypass that panic altogether. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by cracking the CELPIP code, move on to the Task 1 formula, master the Canadian context, break down a 30-second prep strategy, and wrap up with some golden rules for high scores. Let's dive right in.
All right, part 1, cracking the CELPIP code. To win this game, you first need to thoroughly understand the rules of the playground.
If you look at the whole computer-based speaking test, it's basically a rapid-fire sprint made up of 8 distinct tasks. Notice anything interesting here? Task 1, giving advice, and Task 7, expressing opinions, they're the only ones demanding a full 90 seconds of speaking time. The rest are much shorter. That makes Task 1 literally your very first major hurdle of the entire test. It really sets the tone for your performance, which is exactly why today we're zooming in exclusively on conquering Task 1 and making sure you start this exam with a massive win.
But how are you actually being judged behind the scenes? Well, graders are evaluating your 90-second response against 4 exact core dimensions. Let's unpack what they actually mean. Content and coherence measure your logic. Do your ideas flow smoothly? Vocabulary looks for strong, precise words rather than just repeating the same basic stuff. In listenability, that is not about hiding your accent. Accents are perfectly fine. It's about clear pronunciation, not swallowing your consonants, and having a natural rhythm. Finally, task fulfillment just means, did you actually give good, relevant advice to the person in the prompt? Every single word out of your mouth needs to intentionally serve one of these 4 goals.
Moving on to Section 2, the Task 1 formula. This is your secret weapon against rambling, repeating yourself, or running out of things to say. The magic word here is chunking. It completely transforms a scary 90-second window into a highly mechanical, easy-to-follow formula. You don't have to improvise a brilliant speech on the spot. You just need 10 seconds to say hi and set the stage. Then 3 separate 20-second chunks. Why 20 seconds? Because it's the exact perfect amount of time to introduce one clear suggestion and back it up with 2 sentences of strong, detailed support. After your 3 suggestions, you just top it off with a friendly 10-second conclusion. It is a mathematical certainty that if you follow this pacing, you'll nail the timing every single time without ever needing to glare at the clock.
Okay, Section 3, mastering the Canadian context. Let's hit the training ground and see how this formula actually works in real-life, Canadian-centric scenarios. Here's the deal. You can never, ever just list an action. You have to attach specific reasons or concrete details to every single point. Let's say the prompt is about fitness. A weak answer just says, go to the gym. I mean, that's barely advice at all. A high-scoring answer says, go to the gym downstairs because it's empty in the morning, which fits your routine. See the difference there? You're actively proving your vocabulary and coherence by linking a simple action to a specific, logical benefit.
Let's imagine a classic scenario, advising a friend who is moving to Canada in the winter. When delivering your advice, deliberately slow your pacing and keep an enthusiastic tone, exactly like I'm doing right now. Listen to this. First of all, I highly recommend waiting until you arrive in Canada to buy your winter gear. Local brands are specifically designed for our climate. Why does this tone matter so much? Because it directly impacts your task fulfillment score. You aren't just reading facts to a computer, you're playing the role of a caring friend. Bringing that warm energy proves you actually understand the social context.
And to really impress the graders, you need the right phrasing. Deploying high-level collocations and idioms will instantly boost your vocabulary score. If you're helping a friend get fit, don't just say exercise. That's way too basic. Craft a narrative. Suggest they incorporate it into your daily routine. Maybe take a brisk walk, or make sure the workout doesn't feel like a chore. Seriously, dropping a phrase like doesn't feel like a chore is a massive green flag. It flags you as an advanced speaker. It's exactly the natural phrasing they're desperately listening for.
Which brings us to Section 4, the 30-second prep strategy. Those 30 seconds before the mic turns on, that is make or break time.
Please, whatever you do, do not try to write out full sentences during this prep time. You will absolutely run out of time, panic, and end up sounding like a monotone robot. Instead, use these 3 rapid mind mapping steps. Step 1, jot down just 3 core verbs or nouns for your suggestions. Step 2, note your verb tense. This is huge. Under pressure, human brains just default to the simple present tense. Writing down past in big, bold letters stops you from ruining your score when you're supposed to be talking about a past event. And step 3, jot down your transition words.
Embedding structural transitions into your notes ensures your coherence score stays incredibly high. Words like first of all, secondly, and lastly. It sounds ridiculously simple when we talk about it now, but under the pressure of a ticking clock, having those exact signposts physically written down is an absolute game changer. It gives your brain an anchor, and more importantly, it waves a giant flag to the examiner that you are confidently moving from one distinct point to the next.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Golden Rules for High Scores. Let's go over a few final execution strategies you need to keep in mind.
Listen, examiners are looking for natural listenability above almost everything else. It is vastly better to speak clearly at a moderate pace, just like this, than to rush and stumble over yourself. Let's be real, your mind might go blank for a second. It happens to literally everyone. If it does, do not panic and go dead silent. Use natural filler words like well, you know, or as I see it. This actually demonstrates to the grader that you have full command of conversational English, even when your brain is busy working on the very next thought.
Also, keep in mind that the entire speaking portion of the CELPIP exam is only 15 to 20 minutes in total. It's a really manageable sprint. Intense for sure, but it's over quickly. If you happen to stumble a little bit on task 1, take a deep breath and let it go. You still have 7 more tasks to show off your communication skills. Knowing this overarching blueprint removes so much of that anxiety, letting your true abilities shine through without the panic.
So now that you have the complete winning strategy for CELPIP, the only thing left to do is take action. You can't improve your speaking score just by thinking about it. Grab your phone right now. Pick one of these common Canadian scenarios, maybe a job interview, adopting a pet, or planning a trip, and start practicing out loud today. Trust the formula, lean into the structure, record yourself, and go conquer that 90-second clock to secure your Canadian goals. You've totally got this.